Alright, welcome back to episode 2. Last week we covered the first 3 tricks. This week we'll continue with more sit-down foot brake tricks. Here's the roadmap of what we've gone over so far and what we'll get into today. The first thing we're going to do is start learning coasters. There's 2 ways that I worked on them. The first way, I would wheelie down the entire lot, just practicing whatever, just a normal sit-down one-hander, and then as I got towards the end of the lot, I would pull in the clutch and try and coast for as long as I can and try and increase that distance every time. The other way I worked on coasters was I would, clutch up and then wheelie for a little bit, pull in the clutch, coast for a bit, let the clutch back out, keep the wheelie up, and just keep repeating that. So it would be a wheelie, clutch in, coast, let it out, keep the wheel up the whole time, and just repeat that the entire way. Once coasters start getting pretty comfortable, it's about time where you can start adding and sit-down circles, trying to work on those. And then if you have an idle adjuster, you can raise that up to, 4 to 6K, and then try and catch idle and work on no-handers. You start with just taking the throttle hand off for a little bit, and then eventually work your way up to taking both hands off. Coasters help unlock rev limiter coasters, shifting into higher gears and scrapes. Rev limiter coasters can go wrong fast, so start slow. I first started by just taking the throttle hand off with the clutch pulled in just to get comfortable with kind of doing something else while coasting. This is similar to what I talked about with just regular sit-down one-handers, where you start moving that hand around and, opening, closing your visor, honking the horn, whatever. Just doing something to add a little complexity so, you have to focus on, something else just besides the one-hander, the coaster itself. Then I started adding tiny blips of throttle, so if I could coast, blip the throttle, keep coasting, then let the clutch back out and kind of repeat that exercise. I would just add a little more throttle input during the coaster until I finally worked my way up to the rev limiter. For scrapes, it was easier for me to learn first gear scrapes on the Grom with the clutch pulled in. I'm not sure how this applies to big bikes, but the general consensus around Grom scrapes is that first gear you go clutch in, and then second and third gear you just stay on the gas and gas through it. With scrapes, it was easier learning with the clutch in because I could just start kind of with my coaster and then let the bike fall back further and further until I was able to just tap the 12 bar, and that was all because I had really good foot brake control. I understood how it reacts, with the clutch pulled in. It's way more sensitive compared to just your normal wheelie. And the last part is shifting, and I put learning shifting after coasters for these reasons.
Shit. There goes fucking
That second exercise where I would kind of wheelie a little bit, pull the clutch in, coast, and then let the clutch back out and continue the wheelie is essentially the motion for shifting gears. The only difference is you just got to click up into the next gear before you let the clutch out again. You've already learned how the bike reacts when you coast and letting the clutch out and continuing the wheelie, so you're basically already prepared for that sudden jolt. If you're not smooth with the release, all those crash videos that I just showed you are mainly because people didn't expect the bike to toss you back after you shift up in a gear, and you're not quick enough on the foot brake to catch themselves. So that's why I think it's crucial to learn coasters first before trying to shift, and that should help you avoid crashing.
Hottest stash in the carpet. Yeah, we trapping out apartments.